So, my name is Ben Drexler. Most people call me Drex, and the first place I encountered flow was many years ago when I first picked up guitar and started writing music. This was my primary creative pursuit before Fire and Poi came into my life. And I remember that, it took a little while to get there, but when I'd be writing a song, or occasionally when I was up on stage, there would come this moment when, the words that I was putting down on paper suddenly stopped seeming to come from me, or the riffs that I was playing were suddenly just the next note was there, and I didn't know how we'd gotten there. And likewise, there were times when I was up on stage when, all of the pieces fell together in such a way that there was this incredible power behind what we were playing, and I almost felt like an antenna more than a human being, that what was coming out through me didn't belong to me any more than the music in your car belongs to the radio. It was a really, really fascinating place to go, especially when I was writing a song, because it would seem like the song wanted to exist, and that all I had to do was be there at the right place and the right time to write it out. And so, years later, when I came to Poi, I think on some level I'd assumed that it was going to be the same kind of thing, that at some point when I was spinning, there would just come this moment when there was like an invisible hand guiding the Poi as they moved around. And the funny thing is that in the 3.5 years that I've been spinning, I can only remember that happening maybe once. It was a spring day in DuPont Circle here in Washington, D.C. I was practicing after work, and I remember so very specifically, I was playing around with some pendulums around my head, and all of a sudden it seemed like they were being guided by some hand other than my own. That all I was doing was observing, and that some other kind of power had taken control. And it only lasted a few seconds before I came back, and I tried getting back there, and I couldn't for the life of me. Now, I know that some people, when they spin, are able to get to that place where, they seem possessed by some kind of divine power as they're moving around. But for me, at least, playing around with Poi and flow arts, it's always hard work. It's beating down the limitations of my body and physics to make my tool do these incredible things. And it takes such intense concentration and such intense presence that at no point do I ever feel like it's anybody's hand other than my own making those Poi moves. So, maybe at some point in the future, I will get back to that place. I will have been so practiced in all of my movements and all of my transitions that all the pieces flow together so easily that that invisible hand seems to guide them. But until then, the purpose of flow for me, at least, is to explore, to meet these challenges head on, to find out what's possible and what's, I guess, harder. So in the end, I think that's what flow means to me. It's the pursuit of something that is always right at the edge of your fingertips, but is never quite there. In the meantime, you learn everything you can from that journey. And hopefully, the journey is fun enough that sustains you.